Welcome back to our Blades Walk episode 26 and just what the whole happened in that game last Friday. 3 things we've learnt from the whole game is what our main focus is this week. We're talking about whether Burrows in midfield works, the transfer window closing, one of the latest rumours, including is Choudhury from Leicester going to be heading to the Blades, and we are choosing our worst ever defensive lineup that we've seen play in a Sheffield United shirt to add, of course, to our worst ever Sheffield United 11. We have Shex, Elliot, Dan and Connor back with us. Thank you very much for joining. First of all, a massive thank you. We hit our target of over 350 subscribers last week. That is down to you. Hugely appreciated. We'll stop asking now, I promise. Right. Lots to talk about this week, and we've got to start with the whole game. So, Shax, what the whole happened?
Well, combination of things, really. We've not got a midfield. Well, we've got probably one recognised central midfielder. Peck. Burrows is not a central midfielder for me, and it were going to happen. We probably got what we deserved at Swansea, but Swansea couldn't do what Hull did, and that will put ball in net. If Swansea would have played, if Swansea could have finished, they'd have probably been 3-0 up at half time. But I don't read too much into it. I genuinely think it's a one-off, and next Saturday we'll be back firing on all cylinders.
Okay. The starting lineup was interesting. Lots of comments already when that was published, Elliot. Hey, this is just one of them. Ale says, so Burrows is in midfield again. Please say is not. If the fans can recognise it, why can't the person that counts?
Well, to be fair, like when I saw the lineup, I was straight away Burrows stood out, and I'm thinking, hang on. I'm like, I know we are short on a decent centre mid or central field. Yes, Sousa, he was on the bench. He should have started personally. Yes, he wasn't 100% fit, but when he came on, he looked all right. I don't know if Wilder or the coaching staff have seen anything or seen something in training which could have hinted towards him playing in the midfield role. But in my personal opinion, I feel like he was born and trained to be at the back.
Yeah, that's fair enough. The other weird thing which people pointed out, Connor, was starting both Diaz and Cannon. We'll come on to the signing of Cannon in a second. Was that? I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but was that an error, Connor?
I don't think so, really, because with brereton-diaz, people say, "Oh, he's an out-and-out striker," but if you look at his stats when he sort of banging the goals in, because obviously when he first come onto the scene, he was all right, but nothing special. But he excels on that left-hand side, and we brought him in to play that left wing role. Obviously, at the same time, he's not going to be up to speed. He's not been playing for Southampton for we don't know how long. He's had the odd appearance here and there. Cannon, obviously, he's got to get into the team. He's got to get used to the players, how they play, where they want him to play, that type of thing. You can't. Obviously, some players do hit the ground running, but you can't expect a player to come in hit the ground running, especially with how we played. He literally had no service. I don't really think he had a decent chance at all. He was just working with scraps for 90 minutes, and you felt from him at times. And for me, I know Campbell probably 100% fit, but start your best players. It was unreal in that second half against Swansea. Start your best players, get in front, and then sub them off if they can't do the 90 minutes. We seem to be doing it the opposite way around, waiting until we're 1-0 down, and then bringing everybody on and going for it. And I just feel, start them, get ahead, take them off then, and then bring your players in that might only be able to get through 45 minutes or so. It's frustrating, but at the same time, you can see what Wales are having to work with.
I tell you what, Dan, Brewster's unlucky, wasn't he, losing his place to Cannon?
Yes and no. I think it's the fact that how many games they're playing in a short space of time. It's so not really. And people were looking into this: who should play, who shouldn't play. I mean, what other options did he have than playing Burrows in midfield? I'm not sure I get the logic of the question, but because that's all that is had. You could go with Billy Blacker, 17, 18-year-old kid, and people would still be mourning. It's something that's really upset me over the weekend, because I'm listening to supporters criticising a striker who we've signed for 10 million because he's not scored 3. I'm listening to a 28,000 supporters kicking off because we're not beating Hull at home. It's not real. It's not. We're not in. We're living in real world. It's not FIFA. It's not. It happens. These performances happen. Brereton-Diaz is not fit. He's put him in. Why are we always looking when we lose? Why are we always looking to blame somebody? Why are we always looking to say, is it manager's fault? No, it's not. He works with them players 24/7. I see him once a week, probably might be twice a week, right? There's lads running off on 50th minute, absolutely blowing. How do we know that lad's not suffering with an illness, asthma? Do you know, it's something that's upset me and agitated me, Mark, over the weekend. I spent the last 30 minutes of the game on Friday watching it on screen on concourse because I can't listen to fans. I really can't. One game. But when we misplace these passes at 3-0 up or at 2-0 up, nobody's bothered.
Yeah.
So we're top at league. We'd have an extra 2 points, and you've got somebody who works 9 to 5 who's had 10 pints thinking he can tell my team how to play. Sorry, it's not for me, that pal. It's not for me. If you could pick anybody else but Burrows in midfield, you'd pick somebody, wouldn't it? Vinicius has come back from being out for what? Wait, 6 weeks? Yeah, I know what we'll do. We'll chuck him straight in. We'll let him get injured a bit more. But that's my opinion on it, fellas. Anyway, sorry for the rant, but that's just how I feel.
No, we love the passion. Yeah, my original question was a little bit ironic because I knew that no one would want Bruce to win this side. Howie, that does move us nicely on to the next talking point, which is about the fans in general. Shax will bring this back to you. Ben says this is about the booing at half time. I thought our fans were embarrassing tonight. Where's the support for the lads that have us in second? I hate this entitled mentality. It was a poor game of football, but a game too far for a stretched squad. Do you agree with that, Shax?
To be honest, I don't. It might be just me, but their manager's called Ruben, is it?
Ruben Sellers, yeah.
And I thought that were their fans shouting Ruben. I didn't think it were booing. Nobody booed anywhere near me. I didn't hear any booing from home stands. I don't know if you four did, but I didn't hear it. I thought that were all fans shouting his name. So as for booing, I mean, everybody went home early. You could talk about that, but as for booing, I honestly didn't hear it.
It came across on TV as if it sounded like there was. It wasn't strong, but it certainly sounded like that, which would be crazy, wouldn't it, Elliot? If that was if the people, this, are they right to this? We have got this entitled mentality that we have to win every game, like Dan and that tweet are alluding to.
Oh, 100%. I didn't go on the Friday because I had a chest infection and a sore throat, which I did want to go, but I'm kind of glad I didn't go. But on the TV, like Shaq said, I could hear a name. But going back to the entitled mentality, I feel like there's a lot of fans that have piped up and not that haven't piped up last season or the season before, and they just think because we've got such a on paper good squad that we should be winning every single game, whoever it is. And I'm the same with Dan as well. I'm also embarrassed with the amount of wild outs that I saw on Twitter. I'm thinking, I love the bloke. He's my favourite manager that I've ever watched since our glory days, really. And I think he's done the best he can with the squad that we've got at the moment. And for these fans to go and say, "Oh, Wilder out this, Wilder can't do this. He's messed up with this," it's, in my opinion, it's a weak-minded opinion. It's not the manager's fault at the end of the day. It's up to the squad and the players and how fit they are.
Okay. Cheers for that, all of you. I want to ask you about this particular graphic that you've all seen, I'm sure, over the weekend. This has changed slightly since Leicester won at Spurs. But looking at that and listening to the fans of each of those clubs, is it even worth going up?
No, not at all.
Well, of course it is in terms of the business side of things. In obviously you're getting a load of money that's going to sustain your club for a period of time. But it's all about your transfer policy at the end of the day. You look at teams like your Brightons and your Brentfords and look how good they're doing and excelling. Even you've got Fulhams and even Forest. I know it's all about spending money, obviously, but it's spending the right money on the right players that fit your squad. Look, when we first went up, we didn't go crazy. We just signed the right players that we needed, kept most of the squad together, and we pushed on. Obviously, it didn't work out the second season, but it's all about that business strategy. And with the transfers, like we mentioned previously, we're meant to be getting someone in that looks on the stats side of things and the data, and that's the way Brentford sort of go in the business. And if you can adapt that style of approach to your business in terms of your transfers, I think it is worth obviously going up. For the smaller sides, you like to say your Ipswichers and stuff that don't really get into the Prem. It's worth a lot to them because you're going to go down and you can be that sort of yo-yo club. And as much as teams don't like it, at least it's keeping you that money, keeping you afloat, getting you in there. But for the enjoyment side of things, for a fan, especially like for us last season, at times it can not be enjoyable. You get everything against you. You've got all the favouritism towards the big sides. There's a lot that you don't like, but when you're doing well like we did that first season, there's nothing more that you want. You want to see your team get to Prem, and you want to see your team pushing for European football, beating these big sides. Most of the time, it's the journey that's the best part, and then when you get to the destination, it's not that good.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I was there at Goodison when you came as one of the last away games last season in the Premier League, and I like to think the Sheffield United side, even I watched as a neutral, would do far better in the Premier League, even now without strengthening, than the side would before. Dan, do you think that would be the case? You've got a stronger side even now than you had 12 months ago.
I do. Yeah, I think. I also think as well in the Premier League. There was a few sides a few weeks ago struggling a little bit more than what they are now. Like Palace, they started off badly, but I'd like to think we'd do better. But I didn't even know Southampton were bottom because the press or the pundits, nobody spoke about that they've got less points than us at this stage of last season. Maybe we're living in the wrong part of the country, but I do. I think money's always an issue, innit? I think for the likes of us, we have to go down the Bournemouth route. We have to go down the Brentford route. You have to get everything right. But we are a club, for me, that are driving forward with data, that are improving on that. They've got their academy. And I think in the next 3 to 5 years, you'll see the recruitment side of it better. I'm not saying the recruitment side has been poor. Every manager, every club gets things wrong. We go back to the Booster one being wrong. And fans seem to want to remember that more than your signings, your John Flex, your David McGoldrick, your Jack O'Connells, where that got us, where they got us, your Ender Stevens. I think a lot of the fans have to remember that as well. But yeah, I think we'd do better now. It's easy to say that. I think the squad we've got now is better than last year. It couldn't really be much worse. But again, I think we had our hands tied last year as well. To be honest, both managers, Paul Eckingbottom and Chris Wilder.
Okay. We are forgetting, of course, that Leeds and Burnley haven't had that many injuries at all this season. Sunderland themselves have had a fair bit, but you have been ravaged, Shex, it's fair to say, with your best players being out. We're recording this before Leeds play Burnley on Monday night. What result would you like to see from that game?
Me personally, I'd probably anything but a Burnley win. I mean, I don't mind Leeds running off and taking a 20, 30 point gap because it's a top two, innit? You don't have to come first, you can come second. So a draw obviously would be nice, a boring 0-0 draw and they all get injured. But if I were going to pick one of them to win, then I'd probably pick Leeds. But if you listen to Leeds fans, they've already won it 5-0 and then they're already going to romp league and then probably qualify for Europe next season. So they'll tell you what's going to happen when you do their podcast. But yeah, like I said, a 0-0 draw and they all get injured, that'd do me.
Okay. Yeah, we've actually got a very sensible head on our Leeds one. So just very, very, very few of them, but we actually got one. Right, fellas, cheers for that. The Derby County then this weekend, Elliot. I mean, I suspect Paul Warne may have been sacked before you get there because our Derby fans have been asking for that for months. This should be 3 points, shouldn't it? Or is this another potential banana skin?
Well, I'd sure hope it'd be another 3 points, It's a tough one because obviously the past couple games, we have not looked the best, but hopefully by Derby we should have some of our best players back. Sousa, hopefully he's back fully 100% injured, can start. Hopefully Campbell can start. But I do think we will win, but I don't think we'll win comfortably, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Before that game happens, though, the transfer window is about just shut. So let's ask these guys their views on that. First of all, last week we were talking about Diaz and Cannon, and both of them came through. Oops, that's the wrong slide. I want that one. There we go. Connor, what's your reaction to this signing? Obviously, Stoke fans were gutted for him to leave. Was it a strange? Some people are saying it's a strange signing. What's your view on it?
I feel obviously they're going to say that it's strange in terms of it was already out on loan and they've recalled him to sell him. But obviously it's all down to FFP for them in Premier League. They need the money so they can get some new January signings in. He's a young, he's proven at this level. Obviously English, should have that English tax that adds a few more million onto it. But on the whole, we're paying 10 million, potentially rising to 13 for a 22-year-old who can score in Championship. If we can mould him into a Billy Sharp type of striker, and even if he scores only 5 goals and one of them gets us that 3 points to get us promoted, it is worth the money. As much as people are already trying to, like I said, I've seen some jumping on his back after one game with no service. We need to give him time, settle in. Same with Diaz. I know obviously real last season, but there's new bodies, different players that he's got to get used to. He just need to give him time to settle in, get fully fit, and I really think both of them will kick on and really help us. In terms of strike forces, I don't really think there's many that you can look at in Championship at minute that are better than ours, especially with the variation or options. We've got your small strikers in Brewster that are fast. We've got Kiefer Moore, and then your cannons. We've got quite a different type of mix, and I think it really will benefit us come the end of the season.
I think he's Irish, Connor. I don't think he's English. I think Tom Cannon's Irish.
I think he's Irish as well.
Oh yeah.
And you said English. You said you've got to play English tax, well he's Irish and they don't pay tax, so
let's not go there.
An Irish Scouser. Don't see many of them.
Yeah.
I just thought when he said English tax, I thought he's Irish and then tax. That's not usually something he put together. But
he's good attitude. Tom Cannon as an Evertonian, he's got a cracking attitude. I really rate him. Let's talk about some others then, shall we? Because we're still not done, or you may still not be done. Dan, brereton-diaz in, Cannon in, as we said. Sam Curtis is back with you and into the loan from Peterborough.
He's gone back out.
He's gone back to St John. He's gone to St Johnston.
Gone to St Johnston, yeah.
There you go. Right. Blame Sky Sports for not updating them. Let's talk about this potential rumour then. This is from the Bladesman. Thank you, the Bladesman. Do follow them if you're not already. Hamza Choudhury set to join Sheffield United on loan. May include an option to make it permanent. What do you think to this one, Dan?
I think it's a really good signing. I think it's a signing that he can play right back. He can play centre midfield. Again, a very clever signing from Chris Wilder and his recruitment team, because you're not just getting a one-dimensional player. You're getting a player that can play in a number of positions and open up positions for other players as well. So yeah, I think it's another one. I think the 3 players we've brought in so far will be and have been. Well, obviously when Choudhury gets announced, it'll be excellent business. I think. Yeah, so we'll see what happens from there.
I mean, I thought you guys won the transfer window last summer, for certainly, and Shanks, if you hit this signing, I think you're going to win this transfer window again, aren't you? I think this is a huge potential signing for you guys.
It is. I think if you win transfer window, it doesn't necessarily. I'd rather beat Hull. If I'm honest, I'd rather win that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. We do seem to attract the better players in the transfer windows. Like obviously the targets that are available, we do seem to do well in that. We're a big pull, though, aren't we? Like obviously you've got a very good chance of getting back to Premier League. These players are probably looking at that, thinking it's a quick ticket back to Premier League. Choudhury's probably thinking, well, there's a very good chance Leicester are going to go down, and there's a very good chance that Sheffield United are going to go up. So I should imagine he's jumped at that. Same with Tom Cannon. And then you hear like when you see bracket of names that you mentioned, so like you've got Sheffield United chasing somebody, and then if you put like a smaller club like a Sheffield Wednesday, if you put them into it, then obviously they're going to choose us, aren't they? So I don't think that's the reason why. When we're a Championship club, I think we will attract the bigger names because I think we are one of the bigger sides in the league, to be honest.
Okay.
I think he's worked with Chris Wilder before as well, hasn't he, at Watford, which I think helps as well.
Yeah, and I think the Championship is level, to be honest. I think he tore it up last year. If you talk to any Leicester fan, there's one of the reasons he went up when they were there was because of Choudhury's input. So yeah, excited.
Problem is when they're all like that, you have to get rid of them all in some way and you go up, don't you? That's what we did last time.
Right, let's move on then. Finally, this week we are putting together as you've seen, if you've joined us the last couple of weeks, our worst ever Sheffield United 11. Let us know in the comments where we've been getting this wrong, of course. Let's have a look where we've got to so far. We've added our goalkeeper, and last week we added our striker to the picture as well. So we're there. So Connor Salmon and Michael Higdon went on in our strike force last week to join Ivor Gerbich. So we're adding our back line, if that's okay. So 4 of you and 4 positions to fill. Anyone got a terrible left back for us?
Yeah.
Marvin Johnson.
Marvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Lots of nods there. Right back.
I struggle to think of a right back because all of our right backs are quite good.
I've got a right back. I've got a right back for a right back / centre back. What we had last season, Mason Holgate.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Absolutely terrible. Just can't kick a ball straight. Can't head a ball. Can't read a game. All he can do is kung fu kick people.
I've got another one actually.
And then
I quite like.
Go
on. I was going to say. Go on.
Craig Alcock.
Well, I was going between another right back / centre back, and it were Nyron Nosworthy, but I think Mason Holgate just won it because just for his red cards as well. It was just awful. I don't understand how he's on A, that money at Everton, and then B, he seems to get these moves to like decent Championship clubs because he's just terrible.
I could wax lyrical for another hour on the Mason Holgate errors that I've seen against.
If Jay McEvely's not in that back 4, we've done something wrong.
Oh, gotta be.
Right, let's do the rest of the centre backs then. Discussions. Off you go. Anyone?
Gotta be Nosworthy.
Jay McEvely.
I already had McEvely and Nosworthy in my head.
Jay McEvely. Jay McEvely, Nosworthy. Gotta be the two.
Nosworthy is the only footballer that I've ever seen that doesn't know what a football is. Every time the ball come to him or anywhere near him, he seemed to just go into like a fit, just a simple pass, and he'd either fall or he'd put it out of play. He'd just watch it go past him and then react, just like I say, a footballer that don't know what a football is. Or you know what I mean? It's like a boxer not knowing what boxing gloves are. That is genuinely how bad Nosworthy were.
All right. Any to add to it? I think we've got our 4 there, haven't we? Sounds like pretty much like it.
And by the way, Jay McEvely were our captain. That's worrying.
That's crazy.
Well, we still need a captain for this team, so we can have that duty.
He can have it.
I had another left back that you went Chris Hussey.
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah.
That was
Wilder's first signing.
First signing, free agent from, I think he left Swindon. Could be wrong on that. Might have been somebody else actually.
Okay.
To be fair, he took took the names out of my mouth who I was going to say. So to be honest, but they're all as bad as each other. To be honest.
Okay. Can you beat that? If you can, you know what to do. Drop us a comment and we'll shout some of these out next week. Fine, we've concluded on next week with the last one. It's going to fill our midfield with the worst ever midfielders that we've seen at Sheffield United, and then we need our manager as well, which we will conclude in 2 weeks. Next week, also, of course, we are reviewing the Derby County game, and we are, of course, talking about the January Player of the Month. So join us for that. Thank you, you 4. Enjoy your trip to Derby. Good away trip, Derby. Nice ground, decent way in, decent pubs as well. So if you're heading there, enjoy it. And we'll see you in 7 days' time. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Thanks for getting over to 350. If you get us to 400 by the end of the week, that'd be amazing.